I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, can we start with roll call, please?
Boyce here. Mr. Boba.
Here.
Mrs. Burns.
Here.
Mrs. Delaney.
Here.
Mrs. McBride. Here. Ms. Mungo. Here. Mr. Ritter.
Here.
Dr. Singh.
Here.
Mrs. White.
Here.
All right, welcome to our study session meeting. It is Monday, August the 19th. Prior to the meeting, we had executive. It started at 5:30 and we concluded at 6 o'clock. So we're going to go ahead and get started because we have a very long agenda tonight. Presentations and comments from residents on agenda items. Anyone? Any comments? Concerns? All right. Yeah, it's a little shorter. Okay. And then board member discussion items. Anything?
Somebody sent this to me and I have a question about, let me see if I can find it. Apparently, some of the other school districts are now using computer systems to track whether people legitimately are residents of our community. Do we have anything like that?
Can you say that again?
They're having, for this school year, they're going to have a computer system, I'm trying to find where it's at, a computer system by which you can track and find out if the kids are actually residents of the school district. And someone sent it to me and asked about it, and I never heard of it before, and I didn't know if we had anything like that. Do we have anything that can actually identify that the kids belong to us, other than doing it manually?
It's the documentation that they provide.
Yeah, this is something different, though. This is actually a system.
I gotta tell you, Cheryl, I just changed my address.
Yes,
Oh my gosh.
with the district.
Yeah. I had to upload 1,900 forms of you live here in 1,700 different ways. I mean, like, bank statements, driver's license, a utility that goes to that house, like it was pretty, I mean, I know people go around it, but literally I did it, what, a week ago?
Yeah, I'll send it when I find it. It just came today. It's one of the districts out towards the airport, and someone asked me who knew somebody out there, we do this? And I said, I've never heard of this before, but I would ask you. I'll send it to you. Can you look at it?
Any other board member discussion items?
I'm not sure this is really a discussion item, but I think we should mention the passing of Scotty Williams. I'm sure everyone's familiar with Scotty, longtime board member of our community in lots and lots of ways. He passed away. And, there's a wonderful article about him in Tribune Review. If you missed it, you should check it out. Sort of a eulogy, but really a celebration of his life. He was a wonderful guy, a wonderful contributor to this district and this community, and he's missed.
He is.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, so I need approval for the minutes from the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next, financial reports.
Thank you, Dr. Rossi. Financial reports, item 5.1, list of bills, August 2024, and item 5.2, financial statements.
Yeah, any questions? Good.
Questions? All right, move it on.
All right, good. We have some action items here now under personnel. Ms. Jessel.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Rossi. We have 6 resignations as listed, including the retirement of Ms. Joan Levis from UP. Congratulations to her as she moves on to the retired life. We have 1 transfer along with 31 individuals for employment, including 13 paras, 4 educators, 5 food service workers, 5 cyber facilitators, an electrician, help desk coordinator, building secretary for UP, and a school police officer. Additionally, we have lane adjustments, 10 in total, that are in agreement with GEA CBA Article 21.5, along with various supplementals as listed. 36 event workers as listed, 6 independent volunteers. The approval of the agreement between staff nurses and Gateway School District. Approval of the agreement between food service managers and Gateway School District. Approve the substitute food service workers and custodian rate to increase from $12 an hour to $14. And approval of policy 916, volunteers as provided.
So I need a motion.
Second.
Any questions?
Andrew, could you explain about the volunteers?
Absolutely. So per board policy 916, we have 3 tiers of volunteers here in the district. We have assistive, which are those who handle activities like your book fair, on-site activities within the school building itself, and requires an individual to fill out an application for an assistive volunteer, put it on file at that building, along with swiping in their driver's license at the red box when they come to volunteer. The next tier includes our independent volunteers, which are the individuals who are able to go off-site with our students, along with working independently with our students. So that includes chaperones, PTOs doing fun days. I know last year there were plenty of PTOs hosting pool parties. Those individuals that are involved in those activities are required to have independent volunteer status established with the district. Lastly are our coaches and sponsors. So we have plenty of volunteer coaches that help keep our activities moving seamlessly throughout the year, including musical volunteers, athletic volunteers. There's quite an array of individuals who fill those voids. One of the big changes in this policy that I do want to highlight is that we are aligning with PDE and Department of Health standards to move towards having TB testing requirements removed for those who are interacting at under 10 hours per week with our students. So historically speaking, independent volunteers were required to submit a TB exam within 3 months, dated within 3 months of submission to the district. The policy will now be updated to exclude that requirement for those who do not meet the 10-hour per week threshold. So it's important to understand the difference between assistive and independent to hopefully be able to help alleviate some of the stress for our parents and school buildings when trying to find volunteers to fill voids in a pinch.
May I ask about that? So that 10 hours a week, does that have to be consistent? Like, what if you do have the book fair and they work 4 days, 4 hours a day?
So in a situation like that, honestly, they would fall under assistive at that point, and they wouldn't be subject to a TB test either because of that. So I would say that no, what Dr. Rossi and I've discussed openly is when we look at that 10-hour threshold, we're looking more so for PTO parents who are going to be a regular fixture in that building, along with maybe those who are going to be coaches, leaving that requirement for coaches or
Okay, so they can,
sponsors.
so like once or twice in a school year, they can actually be there for 10 hours just based on working like 3 hours for 4 days. And do you, like, so I don't want any confusion, because if somebody's just able to do book fair as one of the PTO volunteers and not an actual consistent parent, and they can just fill in So you're gonna get you're gonna get 12 hours if they just work 3 hours for
Yeah.
the 4 days the book fair
We'll have
is.
to monitor that.
Yeah, I think that's something that's gonna come down to us having to monitor from our standpoint. I think also, more often than not, the parents that are there for multiple days for book fair are the PTO parents. So I think we'll find a lot of patterns with that, but Dr. Rossi and I most certainly will stay up to date and monitor that as we go.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't happen that often, but I just wanna, if somebody falls out or they got called into work, just, I don't want that 10 hours to confuse if it is a consistent thing. But if it was like a one-time thing, just scan your license if you were only gonna be there.
I think where they got confused last year was they didn't understand, like, a field trip is off-site. And a parent would say, but I didn't volunteer all year, but I'm able to go on the field trip. But the field trip is not the same as doing, you know what I mean? Because you're leaving the school grounds with them. And you're going to be responsible. You're going to be going to the bathroom with them if you go to the zoo or wherever you go. So off-site, that created a little confusion because they're thinking, this is the only time I volunteered all year, but you're leaving. You're not in the school. So you're going to have that printed up somewhere.
Have that, and you want to touch base on the independent volunteer?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That'll take care of that, yeah.
Because I think the confusion was from school to school, they were getting different stories and they were comparing notes, and therefore they were confused about one school interpreted this way, another school, so if they can all get on the same plane, that would be good.
Andrea, if I may ask, what does the website currently have? Does it have use case examples like the ones Cheryl just mentioned? Like, if you're a volunteer in this manner, there are certain, abilities that you have, but when you step up, now there's a different level of criteria you must meet. And so to put some of those use cases in,
Right.
like
Examples.
just on the website would clear the confusion up before it cascades down and people get wrong information from other sources.
Absolutely.
That website, and if it doesn't look right, make some suggestions for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Between that and then also, we look to, once this board policy is approved, we look to pass it along to all the PTOs and FTOs to get them current, because I think there's been a lot of disconnect with the FTOs and PTOs as well as to what the delineation is between the 3 tiers of volunteers. So we're going to work tirelessly together to make sure that we get everyone on the same page and get this updated.
And this document Dr. Rossi just talked about, that would be a good place to glean that language from.
Absolutely.
We just don't want to discourage them from volunteering.
Easy to
Yeah.
do the right thing.
Exactly.
Any other questions? The pending documentation for the paraprofessionals, they're all the same. I'm assuming it's the same
Yes.
thing that's
So-
pending.
We have a handful of paraprofessionals that, well, all of our paraprofessionals we extended offers to, and based on turnaround time, most of them are still waiting for clearances to come back. So once clearances are returned, we will then authorize them to be able to work within the district.
Okay, all right.
How do we stay on open positions? Like, do we still have open positions for paras left, or?
So we will be entering the school year with 2 remaining para positions to be filled. We are looking to outsource that presently through Kelly Services with the hope of being able to fill those positions in the meantime. We've worked with all of our professionals to kind of give them a leg up to say, hey, if you have any leaves pending, let us know so we can kind of get ahead of that. We honestly were extending teacher offers until Friday at 4:30 p.m. So we're doing our best to try to keep up with what leaves we anticipate for this upcoming school year and make sure that we have a seamless transition for our students to have continuity of services.
What's our total?
For paraprofessionals, I believe we have 79 district-wide at this time.
Okay, because we were talking before about we had more in the budget, but that's been downsized.
Yep.
And you took those out,
Right.
so, okay.
Yes, absolutely.
So how many openings do we have for our maintenance/custodial staff?
Custodial staff at this time, I believe we have 1 opening.
We have the stuff to fill that.
Yes.
Right now, with the stuff that we have, we will be fully staffed with full-time employees,
Okay,
but we will have 0 subs.
That's where,
And that's what we're working on now. We're
Okay.
Getting the people in for the subs.
okay, great.
Maintenance will be completely full. We have one still out on medical, and he should be returning shortly.
Did we get an electrician?
Yes.
That's
On the agenda for tonight.
All right,
That's the one that's on.
Yes.
great. Okay.
And then his assistant will be on next.
Yes.
I don't know the name of that one. That one.
Assistant
That's
director.
it.
Okay.
It'll be working in conjunction with
We intend to have assistant director of facilities, part-time front desk floater here in central admin, along with, excuse me, Dr. Rossi, I apologize, I'm blanking. There's one other position that we were looking to have filled for next week, payroll. That will, thank you, Mike, you're the best.
Social worker.
And hopefully a social worker as well.
Is
So,
this person that's going to be working in conjunction with John, are they going to start right away after we approve them? There's no like turnaround time where we have to wait for them to come on board?
we have not discussed an offer yet. We just finished up, I believe 2 weeks is what they requested, but we will discuss.
Not months, 2 weeks, okay.
Yeah, they're not a school district employee, so they're not subject to the 60-day
Okay,
hold.
that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Dr. Rossi, the supplementals, the team leads. Am I correct on this is something that's come up just over the last few years, like more
We
predominant?
had team leads, I think previously, not since I've been here, but we wanted to bring them back for just vertical alignment, horizontal alignment. They'll be working with the K-12 curriculum directors as well. And being Gateway so big, Gateway Middle School, that we wanted to make sure that we had someone to kind of help facilitate the teams and the pods.
Yeah, so they just bridge the gap in between what that.
They have weekly meetings, they facilitate weekly meetings. Yeah, so you'd have like the ELA teacher, the science teacher, the social studies all meet together.
And what does a chairperson do? Gifted counseling and nursing.
That's more of a department chair,
Okay.
like a K-12 department chair, whereas Gateway Middle will be just that grade level.
Yeah.
Department chair is all encompassing K-12 for the most part.
And Valerie has resigned from esports. I see we have somebody for
Yes, I have.
Did I misunderstand you? Because it's talking about team leaders at the middle school. Had you initially talked about team leaders at the elementary level?
We did, we still need to fill those.
You still intend to do that? Yeah, okay.
With our supplementals, we had an issue where all of our coaches, whatever, had all their emails and access to buildings had been discontinued. Will they be up and running after tonight?
Yes, we've been working with IT to get that reinstated.
Okay.
Jesse and I have been best friends over the last 2 weeks trying to figure out and make sure that everyone got the proper permissions needed. All of our head coaches should be good to go. The assistant coaches that have the positions that have historically had access do have access reinstated.
And they have access to the buildings, correct?
Yes.
Coaches. Okay. Just
Just right now, I don't know, yeah.
Any other questions?
There are no fall supplementals. This is the rest of them, right?
We have a handful of outstanding positions that we will again pass out to circulate again for all to express interest in. It's a handful, so we'll make sure to include that in the board report and then also circulate that through the district.
Is it going to impact anything functioning if we don't have those?
The biggest one that we have is the same as last year. We're struggling to get a robotics individual for the middle school. It's been a pain point for us. It remains open this fall again.
Just a real quick reminder, I hear about it. If we're doing anything that needs to be, as far as new employees and that, I believe a ticket needs to be put in so they have a paper trail to follow. So if we have anything like that, just continue to do that. Correct.
What do you mean?
Well, when we have a new hiree or if we have anybody coming in, HR put in a ticket that this person is being hired, so everything is.
Yes, Yep.
call it.
Yep.
Okay,
For email and
correct. So we're all
badge.
on the same
Yeah.
page. So they can follow up just to make sure that they're not putting something in there. They didn't miss somebody. Okay, thank you.
So golf will be on here next time.
Yes. We'll be adding a golf supplemental as well.
So you're talking like an onboarding. Having that, okay. Any other comments, questions? All right, so call vote.
Aye.
Mrs. Burns.
Aye.
Mrs. Delaney.
Aye.
Mrs. McBride.
Aye.
Ms. Mungo.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Dr. Singh.
Aye.
Mrs. Morning.
I accept, I abstain from 6.3.30.
And Mrs. Woods.
Aye.
Administrative resolutions.
Right, these are on the agenda for next week, so these are not action. We'll start off with Dr. Jakey.
Thank you, Dr. Rossi. Item 7.1, approve the school-wide action plans. Item 7.2 through 7.4. We have 3 agreements with outside placements. The first being with Holy Family, 7.3 being with Turtle Creek, 7.4 being with the Watson Institute. Item 7.5, approve the agreement between Gateway and Achieving True Self for Obeys Training. Item 7.6, agreement with Stat Medical Services. Item 7.7, agreement with Allegheny Intermediate Unit for Title I non-public services. 7.8, agreement with Catapult Learning for Title I non-public services. Item 7.9, we have 4 policies as listed. Item 7.10, approve the agreement with Sound Foundations and Gateway School District for Title I non-public services for the upcoming school year.
Thanks, Dr. Rossi. Item 8.1, approve the architect to begin drawings for casework at University Park Elementary and Evergreen Elementary for the 25-26 capital expenses. Item 8.2, approve the parking lot agreement between Gateway School District and the United States Golf Association. Item 8.2, approve ZNA LLC auditors to audit the financial statements for the 23-24 school year. Item 8.4, approve the real estate tax collection audit for the 22-23 school year performed by ZNA Axelrod LLC. Item 8.5, hire arbitrage compliance specialist to perform the required IRS calculation on Series 2021 General Obligation Bond and file the IRS Form 8038-T. Item 8.6, approve the Tricog Land Bank's notice of proposed property disposition for one Monroeville property as listed. Item 8.7, acceptance of the district donations received during the 24-25 fiscal year. Item 8.8, approve the following booster/PTO groups for the 24-25 school year. Item 8.9, approval of the First Amendment to the lease agreement with the Allegheny Intermediate Unit. This agreement replaces the July 2024 agreement, which was for 3 additional classrooms. Item 8.10, approval of the 2 proposals for the Gateway High School Dance Studio project from Moret Construction Company. The funds for this project will come out of 24-25 capital projects account. And item 8.11, approve the agreement between the Gateway School District and Davis Demographics for student forecasts and student yield factors.
Questions, anybody?
Yes. 8.1, who is the architect that will be working on?
Hank,
Okay, just making sure.
Do we need to approve an amount for that, or is just a specific, you give him a list of
we're
what
just
to
going to
do?
approve to he'll give us a fee schedule once we approve it.
Okay.
When you say case, I asked you that, I sent you that email. What does that mean?
Casework pertains to the bookshelves that ran under the windows. They're the original bookshelves that are the old metal ones. And we took them apart. They didn't hold up very well. We put back what we could. And we're putting filler pieces in now. But for the next capital budget, I'd like to at least get prices and see what it's going to cost to bring those up to the standard of where we should be.
We're going to have a meeting, clearly
Yes.
scheduled to go over into September on the 16th. But just curious, when we talk about windows and there's any problems with windows and there's bookcases by there, do you remove the bookcases? Since we're talking about bookcases.
The bookcases at the elementary schools, yeah, we pulled them all out from under the windows. We had to pull them all away for them to do
For all
that.
the buildings.
For
not
just the
ju-
two buildings, for.
Yeah, I'm
yes.
talking,
Yeah, Evergreen.
I haven't really had time to look at the other buildings.
we can talk
Yeah,
about
we'll
that.
get to that point, but these ones, since I've been so involved with the projects,
With those, with the heating.
yeah,
and
that I
air
want to at least get these ones started to get them ready.
For Evergreen and University Park.
Yeah, I actually reached out to John and asked him about what he meant by that because I did not quite understand. And the other issue that I asked about is the dance studio project, because in the text of the bids, it said non-inclusive of the flooring. Now, I was told initially when I took buildings and grounds that we were going to do the floor, they were just going to shimmy up the floor and support it, and then we were going to do the actual work to replace the bad wood and then refinish the whole thing, and you said you were looking into that.
Right, the actual contracts I have not seen yet. We actually had a hard time finding them. We thought they were approved. And Mike has been,
He's been-
for like 2 months, we went through the board docs and we finally found what we were looking for. And I just haven't had a chance to go over to see what is included and what's not included. But it's prepped and ready to go. So once we get a board approval to start the work, then whatever is written in the scope, we will do it according to that. I'm just not exactly sure what it is, but once we get copies, I'll get them to you.
But down at the bottom, it said something about this was not inclusive of flooring on the one.
Right.
And I remember being told,
There was two separate bids.
Right,
One was
there
for the
was two,
demo, which I
right.
think when Bob was here, they started doing some of the work.
right,
So we might have to have it completed in addition to what they already did to get it prepped to put the floor down.
so what we're.
Either way.
So what we would be approving is two things that we know of, not knowing if there's still some other facet that
Right.
it's going to be done.
Right,
Floor
it-
has to be done, so
Right, it
that's
has
going
to be done.
Right, either way, it has to be done, and, you know, this is no excuse, but with the volume of work that we had this summer,
I
I
understand
just
completely.
never had a chance to go over them. And that's what we're in the process of doing now. So that's why we're bringing the bids in.
Oh, absolutely. It's not on you. It's just,
It's your budget.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. We'll go over that when we have the meeting on the,
Yeah, these bids are from December.
yes, right. But if you read the text,
Yeah, and it says not in contract, the cost for the permit on the first one, on the demolition,
look at the bottom of the other one, it
and
says,
removal of existing bar joist decking, concrete, and debris from area.
That's already been done.
And then the other one,
it says something about flooring. at the
it
bottom.
says not in the contract, but again, the permit, and then the future hardwood flooring.
Right.
Right now, hardwood floor is going to be done by a company that installs gym floors, because that's what that is. I will have a company come out once we get to that point to give us a price on finishing that floor all the way over to finish the space.
So we're really looking at
Another one, yes, and I'll
the two already have.
And I'll probably try and work it into the 25, 26 budget, capital budget, depending on what the price is. You know, it's not really that big of a space, so I just not sure what the price would be.
Okay.
Okay?
Have we confirmed that there's no longer going to be water? It was originally water damage that destroyed this room, correct?
That's what I'm being told.
Do we have confirmation that that has been rectified somewhere?
I do not. I have not seen any water in the hole itself,
Okay.
so I will talk to the maintenance guys to find out if that has been rectified. If not, we will come up with a plan and present it to have it rectified. Because I believe it's coming from the courtyard right outside of that area.
Yeah, I don't remember. Is anybody here that's been here remember?
I was told it was from the courtyard.
Is anybody on here? Was it completed? Do you remember?
Whether it was water damage?
Well, no, rather, we stopped. Well, they just stopped working on it.
So hopefully this company's going to be able to provide them with some additional information.
Yes.
What next steps? 'Cause it's still.
There's a lot, there's a big hole. Yes.
Yeah, I just didn't know if that part was rectified before these bids came in December of 2023, like if they stop the leak.
Yeah, we haven't heard that, I mean, we've been in there.
Yeah, because obviously.
Yeah. We'll take a look at it, yeah. Yeah, we have to kind of reset with this, and that's kind of hopefully what we're doing, getting just some different looks at it.
Okay, so you're talking about the hardware, the next year's budget, does that mean the dance studio is still not gonna be available for another year?
It depends on how long it takes them to get the structure to where it's at. If they do it in a month or two, then I will present to the board a proposal to finish the floor. But it's all gonna depend on how quickly they can turn around and get that up, because it was never scheduled to do the work. So the contractor is not gonna be able to be here tomorrow if you approve the funds. So if he's 2-3 months out, then by the time you do the work, you're into January, February.
Most likely gonna impact a fourth musical season, I've lost track, third, fourth.
Well, does it have to sit for a while too? Does it have to settle? There's no settle
From
thing.
what I
with this.
understand, they're coming in with a high compression foam to fill the voids. And then they're gonna build up on top of that. So there'll be no compaction time, there'll be no, settling time. They'll be able to put the foam in, it'll expand its way through and settle, and then they'll cut the size and build on top of that.
And you said those were the old contracts that you found from back in December?
Yeah.
So they're honoring that price? We're not going to have a supply chain?
Yeah, we worked with them before.
And, okay, so they'll honor the original bid. Okay.
Val, do you remember how long we've been without this dance studio?
It's been, say, 3 years, but then again, it's not that it's being pushed off. It's the same as the elevator that was supposed to be put at UP. So there was other priorities that they had addressed, and these were considered more bottom of the list type thing. So it's not, not doing the job. So.
I'd just like to see if we paid anybody for waterproofing.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
We will.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Jim. Can I ask? Oh, I'm sorry, Dawn.
Sorry, my quick question, item 4, is that the right year? We're good, 2 school
Yeah,
years
it's
back?
always year behind, because they actually go on site to the tax collectors, to Jordan, and they compare their records to our records.
Okay, thank you.
As far as the IU, with additional classrooms, are they all together?
Yeah, there's 2 classrooms on it. They couldn't get out of the current lease, because remember last month you approved 3 classrooms, so now they're back to 2 classrooms in the nurse's office.
Okay.
So hopefully if they can get out of the lease, they'll come back in January. I said, I can't guarantee them we're gonna still be there. But the only great thing, I don't know if you ever had a chance, walk over to the amount of stuff, it's all Gateway students. The stuff they have over there is so, I don't know, it's kind of breathtaking. There's that much equipment, and just for, for those kids with those disabilities, there's a lot of effort put into it.
Were these payments increased because when you did that analysis of the cost
It goes
of
by the
renting
square foot.
is that's why you went up when you finally figured out what
Yeah.
the square foot was?
Yeah, we're between $8 or $9 and $11 a square foot for most.
That's why I wondered if that's-
When you agreed to do that appraisal.
Yeah, that's good. Can I, one last question, going back to Dr. Chaky. On the Title I stuff, clearly we have to do those things, but all the services, when you talk about pupil services like the AIU, the Catapult Learning, what's the differentiation between these different, are they all like sound foundations? Are these overlapping or are these all distinct, different?
These are the different services that the different non-pubs choose. Like, for example, one non-pub may pick Catapult Learning to use that.
Okay.
And that, another one may choose to pick another one. So it's basically up to them.
You're giving them choices,
Yes.
basically. Okay. Anything else?
All right. Board member resolutions. I don't think we have any board member resolutions, so comments from residents on non-agenda items. Any comments? Okay. All right, so administrative reports.
Mike, Just a reminder that we do have the ribbon cutting tomorrow at 5 o'clock at Gateway Middle School, and then the open house follows right after that at 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. We'll have shuttles available. Messages went out on the website as well. The church, catty corner to Gateway Middle School, and also the parking lot behind Get Go there as well. So I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of it.
Tuesday, August 20th, 6 to 8 p.m.
That's it. Yep. And just reminders, as we start the school year, we always want to kind of recalibrate and go back to our mission and vision. And we'll be sharing this with teachers again tomorrow and reiterating this, that we're student-centered and future-focused. And so we're excited about the new school year and incorporating our comprehensive plan and initiating some of the goals and initiatives that we have moving forward. Some of the curriculum updates, I mentioned this at the Education and Equity meeting, is the science standards. We're working hard this year on the new science standards that will take effect next school year. A financial literacy course will be finalizing the curriculum, which that'll be required next year. And then career readiness, we're piloting a program, World of Work, in our elementary schools, grades 4 and 5. It's a framework for career opportunities and programs that we'll be using with our teachers. So that aligns with our career readiness action plan item and the comprehensive plan, and it works around you'll hear these RISEC themes that we'll be publicizing and sharing with the families as well. So we're excited about moving that forward. And before I turn it over to Dr. Chakey, I just wanted to mention that there is an alumni showcase at Robert Reed Performing Arts on August 30th, starting at 7 p.m. Sounds like it'd be a great event with some of our alumni coming back August 31st, starting at 7 p.m. So
They're going to come back and sing,
perform, and sounds like it's
it's going to be fun.
Yep, sounds like a great event.
And we'll be sharing this graphic tomorrow with teachers. This really takes us back to the critical attributes of the comprehensive plan, starting with instructional practices, looking at the curriculum, the assessment also, but making sure that it's all evidence-based. A few updates about safe and supportive schools. There is another grant that's being offered this school year. The grant is offered for $100,000 for the physical safety, and it's also $100,000 for behavioral health. So we're meeting with teams currently to talk about some of the needs that we may have district-wide. The open gate weapon detection systems are here. Those are some members of the school board attended the presentation about open gate. We have them over at Gateway Middle now. The individual's coming in on Wednesday to provide training for us, and then he's also going to stay for the first day of school to run through some of the training there. 6 total units within the district. In speaking with the administrative team, we'll probably utilize 4 units at Gateway Middle, so that'll give us 2 to use in sporting events and other extracurricular activities, which will be good. We also attended the Pennsylvania School Safety Institute, Pennsy. There's a picture right there on the right, and that was a great experience. That was an experience where it was totally hands-on. We had principals there, Mike Kohlberg, one of our school police officers, and they were simulations. There would be a screen that wrapped all the way around the room, and it would show a simulation of, okay, an active intruder. It was something as serious as that, or it was something where there would be a student upset in the middle of the hallway, and how do you react to that student? So that was a great experience, very immersive experience for all of us. That was last Monday. We're also currently looking at the MTSS and the PBIS work to support students, outside of that physical safety realm, but looking at the well-being of students. Some of the action steps with the MTSS, we want to identify evidence-based interventions, what's available in each building. Also looking at PBIS, we're going to look at the data that was gathered through PBIS and really come up with action plans, look at some of the trends from the last couple of years and be able to build this out so that we can fully support students. And also the bully prevention, refresher training for all staff on bully prevention, looking at some intervention strategies and reviewing exactly what we need to do to move forward. That's the evidence-based aspect of the comprehensive plan.
Thank you. Coach Hall? I think he's on there.
I know he was.
Coach Hall on there?
Give him a minute to find the button.
There he is. You're muted, Don. He may have stepped away, but the fall sports are officially underway. They had heat acclimation, was it last week? And then this week started kind of full-fledged practicing. And so you had to go cross country, boys and girls golf, boys and girls soccer, girls tennis, girls volleyball, football, all started official practice last week and scrimmaged, will scrimmage over the weekend. And some of the varsity events are already happening as well with the games. So full steam ahead here. That was it.
All right, board committee reports.
Buildings and grounds. I'm assuming, Dr. Rossi, you talked to John about our schedule for this year. We're going to do it a little differently, and Robin, I know you talked to Dr. Rossi. We're going to have a meeting in September, give us, a little chance to get school started. It will be just the committee members on the 16th. I know that's hard for some of you, the two of you, with working in the schedule. It's going to be at 2. But then we're going to, 3 times during the course of the year, we'll have a public committee meeting in the evening at 6. And the first one of those will be in October on the 9th at 6 o'clock in this room. That way we're not doing it every month. But we'll update all of you every time we have a meeting as to what's going on. Personally, having had a chance to walk into some of these buildings more recently, we have 4 elementary buildings we seriously need to focus on, big time. I mean, we put a lot of time, energy, and money into the middle school, but we've got 4 buildings that are getting sort of old, and there's stuff that needs to be done. And they did do the heating and stuff, but you just see a lot of stuff. So I'm hoping that'll be our focus this year and moving forward. Seems like we've put, and I don't know what happened to the railings at the high school. Did we get them in yet for the stadium?
The railings at the high school, we had a delay on the manufacturing of the metal pieces. I spoke with them today. They should have them being shipped out of Florida either the end of this week or the beginning part of next week. And then I've already spoke with Don Hall. We're going to work in between games, and we'll do one section at a time. So for soccer games and the other games we have in the stadium, the seating will be open, and then on weeks we have football games, there'll be no activity at all, so all of the bleachers will be open. So since it got delayed, I did speak with Don Hall to make sure that we were all on the same page on how to get this done without interfering with the sports.
Yeah, supply chain issues. Yeah, I mean, you can't do anything about that, but thank you. But that's how, and we'll let you know about the other dates, because the next one, all, public would be into January. So it'll be, you're going to put that out there, that schedule, and that's good. And we're still going to look at data, even though we've decided to keep the, Susan was saying about keeping the equity and curriculum together. We were going to split it, but then we're going to leave it. So we're still going to get the data whenever data comes in to look at it. Is there anything you can show us from last year as a comparison? Because what you would show us now would be from last school year, but it would be like, what did you look at the beginning of last school year? Some basis of comparison. Is that possible, or is that too complicated?
You do that, but there's such a lag on the data that, like, if we're looking at the FRCP data, it's we're a couple of years removed from it.
Right. What about the kindergarten? You had the kindergarten pre-testing before the kids came in, and the kids got scores and stuff.
We probably wouldn't share that. That's more for like placement purposes.
I was just curious, what starting point would we be able to see as they progress? With that.
We have local assessments that we use. So we have a cadence that we use, and the MAP, NWEA MAP that we use.
Right.
And those testing windows, we give the kids a couple of days and maybe a week or so to kind of get acclimated to school, and then the testing window opens for them for the first kind of 3 weeks after the first week of school or so into September.
Data that we can really jump into. Yeah.
Again in January.
Yeah, I just didn't want to do something halfway through the school year because that's hard to jump on board and see progress if you're doing it in January. But if you have something that soon in the school year, it would help us know what's working and what's not.
Yeah.
It's not that we don't, I mean, that's your bailiwick, but we need to know what's working.
And then there's progress monitoring that happens in between those testings, in between, September and January. Students that need it, their progress monitored to see if the interventions that are working or not. So
Right.
we probably wouldn't share that information, but we could share that universal
Yeah.
data would be.
Right, we do it universally. And the closest you could break it down to different subgroupings or whatever would be great too, to see. Okay, thank you.
Just a couple, can I ask a couple questions? Okay. Dr. Austin, do you have any update on the busings? Because people have been questioning what's happening.
Buses, it's coming along. It's kind of a perfect storm here. We have a new system, Traversa, that we're using. It's cumulative. The Skyward upgrade that we're using. And we hope to have everything ready. We're going to send a blast out here hopefully tomorrow just to have parents just double check the system. But we're asking for some patience. Every year we do have hiccups. This year is going to be, we anticipate some hiccups as well because of the new system and getting everyone up to speed on that system, both systems.
Thank you.
Dr. Rossi, could I ask a question about the number of school bus drivers? During COVID, we didn't have enough of any types of, employees, cafeteria workers and everything, all the way down the line. Have the bus driver quantity increased to the point where the bus companies all around Western Pennsylvania are no longer struggling to find bus drivers? Or are they still in?
They're still in need.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And, okay.
Wall Avenue is going to be closed in Pitt County. Did you get that?
It was the meeting today. Yep. They're going to make some, we'll put a blast out. They're going to let it open for us for a while and then shut it down permanently too. So there'll be some issues on Wall Avenue coming up.
I'm sorry, click something in my mind. The school nurses as well. There's still an awful shortage on school nurses. Is that true?
Absolutely. Part of our hope is that after we looked at the data regarding compensation and trying to figure out the sweet spot for us to get more competitive, that's part of what you guys voted on tonight was the school staff nurse agreement.
Yeah, right.
To hopefully be able to bolster and recruit, because currently we have 6 total positions in the district, only one of those positions are filled.
Yeah, I was looking at
With
that, statistic and wondering how can we get more nurses to get into not just our school, but all schools.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised to hear that paying them more is effective.
Helps.
See, I was not going to bring that up, but what we offer them is a certain amount of money, and if we don't have that, we have to hire an outside organization.
I understand
And
how
that
it works.
staffing adds a premium price on top of that. And so if we could take some of
That's okay. Remember what we were offering our nurses on an hourly basis?
26 an hour previously for staff nurses.
Mates graduating from nursing school and going to hospital.
I know, it's very different.
But he or she will probably make almost twice that amount.
Easily, right.
So,
Because they're in demand.
yeah, right, and wonderful benefits. So we are trying to pay half rate for someone who,
Deserves.
well, I was going to say deserves, works an odd schedule and doesn't have that set of benefits. So the fact that we have any is almost astonishing.
We've been very
Teachers,
fortunate.
the same way we pay nurses, we would have no teachers.
This is bitter.
All the way around. Okay, one other thing. There's a lot of questions that are being asked about the, what parents should send in with their kids as far as supplies and what they need. The schools supply the students with everything they need. If the parents want to go above and beyond, that's up to them. But
Can I interrupt you one
go
second?
ahead.
So say that again, because you're right, right now there's lots of talk. So the schools, say it how you said it again.
Schools supply the students with everything they need.
How do the schools know what the students need?
Well, what
Teachers know. And because the teachers know, they put it in line item detail, and it goes through the finance department, the superintendent, the school board, and so we always give the teachers everything that they ask for as well as possible, so they already have enough. Now, proceed.
No, I'm just saying, so, if they want to get the $64 of crayons with a pencil sharpener. They can, but they will be given crayons, but it's not going to be
Premium.
the premium ones. So they have all the basic needs that they have, that they're going to need. So parents, don't worry about that. If you, like I said, want to go out and get something better for your child, I know I always like shopping with my kids because, we had unlimited budgets that we just bought whatever. But I just want to let you know that the school does supply your children with the needs that they have at school.
So, I don't know if it's a misconception or miscommunication. How would you characterize? There's clearly a thread
Yes.
that there are kids who are not adequately prepared. There are wonderful organizations throughout our community who want to be part of volunteering to fill in the gaps. First of all, I wouldn't want to dissuade anyone from being part of what we do. But just to make it clear, I'm sure somewhere there's a list, yes, of every grade, what you need to be an effective student, and we make sure that that's available at least on a basic level.
Yes. Sometimes parents might ask, what else can we bring in? So that's where it comes, that's the suggested list, I think what was being.
That's the word.
The suggested list was then kind of developed.
And if they,
It's turning into that. I think everyone thinks they need that, and they don't.
I think the term you just used is the term that should be on these lists. This is suggested. I always bought that stuff for my kids to have it at home, so if they had any home projects, they had that stuff at home. But the implication, the way this is, when your teacher says you need something, the teacher thinks we need it in the classroom, and that's how it's being interpreted. This is a classroom thing, but you're saying we're providing them everything they need for the classroom, so across the board, every kid will have the same stuff.
Reiterate that when we're in the budget season, and that's when that should take place.
Now, a caveat to that is, they're kids. I've gotten my son 200 pencils a month, I swear, because they lose
and I
them.
understand.
Kleenex, hand sanitizer, like kind of communal, and again, they do have them, but they just go through so much. So that is actually, I've seen some lists, people have posted lists from Ramsey Evergreen, and it says the teacher will provide pencils, crayons, notebook, and then it says suggestive, if you'd like an extra notebook. If you'd like a 1-inch binder, then it said always appreciated Kleenex, that's literally one of the teachers sent it out, and it did separate into 3 separate boxes. So I think that could be some of it too, just like the extra pencils, or if you need an extra notebook or something, but everything they need for the classroom typically here in all 4 of my kids have been.
Yeah.
But I do too. I like the list and go to Target and go pick out the color notebook you want, like that.
But not every parent has the ability
Our
to.
people services department's on it with our social workers, and university department. We have the backpack program.
Yes, I saw her backpacks piling up.
Things already in place, but we'll make sure we coordinate it.
I think it's just the wording. If you just let them know that the basic stuff they will get, so don't panic if you're a parent that can't do that. Sometimes it was brought to my attention, it's not so much what we're saying, it's how we're saying it to parents, because parents, especially if you're new to the district or your kids are in kindergarten, you don't know. So when you tell them they need something, they're going to take that literally, and they're going to say they can't afford it. So I think it's how we say it. Just say, in a different way.
So thank you very much, Val, for helping to clarify this.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's good.
Trying.
Thank you.
one other thing, if we can. Andrea, I've noticed we've had some staff members, Mary, whatever. Could we get all the ID tags updated to their correct names? Because I have seen they don't have the correct names on. They have like their maiden names on, so they would at least.
For this year?
Let's start at the top and work our way through.
Yes.
We have 3 individuals who are just recently married over the summer. We have our in-service day tomorrow, and we intend to take pictures and update ID badges from there. We typically do so relatively quickly, all things considered. Just a matter of timing between the employees' availability. So since we have in-service tomorrow, our hope was to get all those captured at that time.
Because, I mean, there have been some that have been married that they still aren't updated, so that's why I just wanted to make sure that they all are.
appreciate that.
That's all I have, thank you. I just want to wish everybody good luck with the start of school. Staff, thank you. Wishing everybody a great year. Students, give it all you got, and we're here in your corner if you need anything.
Do you have a list of those names you can give her?
No.
Oh, okay.
We'll follow up afterwards. I'm wondering who it
She
was.
said there's a list of people whose names haven't been updated, but she doesn't have a list.
Occur to these people that I need to
Right.
my badge.
I was asked, and it's just, so that's why I just wanted to bring it up now. So if you bring it up tomorrow, in service.
Someone ever asked to upgrade their badge and someone said, no, we can't.
I'm just bringing it up because everybody should be,
Yeah.
you know, who they are.
To be transparent as well, last year we had asked IT to help us with a huge undertaking to utilize the Barksdale photos for all of our ID badges. We bit off more than we could chew, was what we've learned. So that's why we've pivoted to have pictures taken during in-service tomorrow and then clerical day on Wednesday to be able to mass update all of our photos. We do have a lot of people, I'm sure if Dr. Rossi pulled out his badge right now, he has a nice picture from about a decade ago when he joined the ranks here. Unfortunately, we have a lot of outdated badges in the district.
How about we do this? If you're listening and you're an employee of the school and your name has changed, your hair has changed, your eyes have changed, whatever has changed that needs to be updated on the badge, make sure you see the appropriate person to have that badge updated.
We have a Google form out there. Everyone's already completed it, so we're a step ahead of that, luckily. It's just a matter of getting all the pieces of the puzzle together, so this is where tomorrow comes into hand. So we'll get that across the finish line.
And one other thing, since we're talking about pictures, school pictures will be coming up at the beginning of September, I believe. If you have any problems, parents, guardians, anyone, reach out to you, Janet. Okay.
If we don't, it'll be the first year.
It'll be the first year ever. So I'm just,
Great tradition.
this is just, started off.
Don't go to social media, just come to us. So
Right.
we can get the problem fixed.
Correct.
It's not fun if we don't go to social media.
It doesn't get fixed.
Anything else?
That's it.
Anything else from committees? I know we're just starting, so I hope everyone had a nice summer. We're ready to get started for the new school year. I hope to see everybody in the community out tomorrow for our ribbon cutting and our grand opening of the new school. It's beautiful, it's amazing. You did a great job on the video. So thank you, and I just need a motion.
I'm still here.
Oh, Susan, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm not going to belabor the time. Yes, we did have a curriculum and equity meeting on Thursday, August 15th, 6 p.m., and it adjourned at 6:58 p.m. I will, in person next Monday, maybe say a little more with that. But I did want to reiterate on one thing. Like Jack had said, maybe there was a miscommunication because of one parent that reached out to us and still was asking, is there a suggested list and how to get it and that kind of thing. Because I wondered too, if the kids do get all the supplies like notebooks, because I guess I always had to buy them for my kids and they weren't extra. They were required. So again, I'm just curious about the list. We know that we have to get them book bags as parents, but as I said, I'm still a little fuzzy on what is a list for elementary versus middle, even high school. What are parents expected? Not like Cheryl had said, that there are things you keep at home. That's all well and good. But there's some things the teachers, I feel, expect you to have on the first day when you come in. Am I correct?
No.
I'm not correct.
There may be a suggested list, but we have what they need to start.
Okay. So that is being circulated or will be circulated between now and Thursday?
Hopefully, the whole community's watching, Susan, and they know.
We'll reiterate with teachers tomorrow
Okay.
in service day.
Okay. yeah, I just, if someone asks me, I just want to be sure that I'm giving them the correct information as well. And as I said, well, I'll say a little bit more in person next Monday. Okay, I'm through.
Robert, did we have comments on from residents on non-agenda items?
Yes.
We did that.
Yes, we did.
What, can I just say one other thing? Mr. Walsh, I just want to thank you. You have been through so much since you started. And with you, Dr. Rossi, just everything you did for the middle school, it is very nice. Kids should be overwhelmed when they walk in.
Thank the staff also. They're the ones who really went above and beyond to make this all happen in all 3 buildings.
Well, that's what I'm
Thank
just
you.
saying. Thank you for everything.
I think too, Val, the fact you were doing heating and air conditioning in 2 of those buildings, that was quite the project and a half when you walk in there. It's a lot of work.
Michael, thank you for your work as well.
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry, tech department. I forgot about you guys. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Everybody is.
Everyone, thanks for doing your job.
All right.
And happy first day of school to tech staff and teachers.
All right, I had a first and a second.
Fine, thank you.